welcome back to Failing Imperfectly. I am so excited you're here with me today. Today I want to dig into fear and how it affects us and share some of what I've learned over the past months with my growth through fear. I did a post back in October on failingimperfectly.com about fear, and I'd like to expand on that here with you today. So first things first, let's talk about fear being normal. Fear is normal. We've had fear in the human race forever, as far as I know. From what I've done with research, what I've learned, and what I've experienced, fear is just part of life. It's normal. It's how we live. So what we have to do is figure out why fear is ruling our life. And it doesn't rule everyone's life, so it can be either an afterthought for some people, or it can rule some people's lives. Most of my life, fear has ruled my life, and it has been one hell of a ride. But through a lot of growth, a lot of study, a lot of introspection, I have been able to overcome so many fears. One fear is me sitting here doing these videos with you. Another fear that goes just beyond that is sharing these videos with my social media following. A lot of them are friends from previous jobs or from school, or just people I've met and are my friends, and I have been absolutely worried about what y'all would say about my videos and how much shit talking I would get in comments or in feedback, or how many people I would lose because of these videos. Because I am raw, I am real, and I tell you how it is because I needed people like that in my life. I needed people who would push through fear, push through the shitty situations, and share them, because I felt like I was the only one through everything in life. And that made me so fearful of everything. That is why fear ruled my life. It was never an afterthought. It was part of every single thing I ever did. But not any longer. And it feels so good and so freeing to not have fear rule my life anymore. As I talked about in my post, the definition of fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by a belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or is a threat. How does that manifest, though? Because I feel like every single person either has a different feeling when they experience fear, or they ignore fear. But how does it feel to you? What does fear feel like to you? To me, fear is this horrible, gut-wrenching feeling deep inside that gives me awful anxiety and makes me want to run the other way. It makes me not want to do things. It has prevented me from doing so many things, and I am so tired of letting fear rule my life. To the point of, here I am, I'm sharing my growth with you, and I'm sharing what I've learned so you can also grow through fear. I have a lot of fears, and I've overcome a lot of them, but I still have some. Some of the fears can be weird, or things that people are like, what the fuck? Some people are like, yeah, I would never do that. Like this. Some people are like, no, I would never record a video and put it out there for the world to see. Here I am, and I'm doing it because I want to share with you the rest of my fears. So one of the weirdest fears that I didn't realize I would develop is a fear of falling. I am clumsy, utterly clumsy, and that's okay. And I've lived with it, and all the bruises and the weirdness that, comes with being clumsy. But after I had surgery, and now that I have screws in my back, I am horribly afraid of falling. I am so afraid that I am going to fall and break a screw in my spine and cause major damage. And it might be somewhat justified because that can happen, but those are strong screws that they put in my body. So I have to work through that fear. I have to challenge myself. I wouldn't go on walks with the dogs in any kind of wet weather, whether it be rain or after rain and the roads are just wet. I was so afraid of falling that I limited myself. Now I've done it. I've gone out there on icy sidewalks because people don't shovel their damn sidewalks, and I've walked through them. And I'm so thankful for Chloe, who will slow down when I need to just focus on walking. But I have gone out and I've tackled it. I've gone out in boots in deep snow and up into the mountains, and it's been great. But I wouldn't get there without acknowledging the fear, without realizing what that fear did to me, what the feeling the fear gave me, and working through it. We have to sit and think about each of our fears. We can't just continue living life without acknowledging what the fear is. Or we can, and then we would never get where we think we want to go. But to get where I want to go, to become the woman I know I can be, I have to sit and I have to look at every fear that I have and the feeling that comes with it and figure out why I have this fear. If I give into this fear, what am I losing? If I keep pushing against this fear, what will I grow to? There's so many different ways to tackle fears, and what I have found to work for me so far is identifying the fear, digging deep to learn what the root cause of the fear might be, and how the fear is triggered, what causes it, and then to learn what's the best thing I can do to face that fear. How can I keep pushing those boundaries so that fear becomes less and less? When was the last time you faced a fear and asked, what is the best thing that can happen? So in identifying my fear, digging deep to learn the root cause and how the fear is triggered, and learning the best thing to do if I face that fear, I also ask the question, what's the best thing that can happen if I actually go through this fear? If I push through this fear, what is the best thing that can happen? These videos, what's the best thing that can happen? I connect or I give information to people who relate to me. Yeah, there's so many people out there who make videos, who share personal growth, who write, who are certified coaches, but they aren't me. They don't have my experiences. So what's the best thing that can happen with me sharing these videos? It's me connecting with you and you learning something new to tackle something that you are challenged with in your life. It is an amazing feeling to hear and get feedback that, man, you put it in a different perspective and now I can continue. Like, I'd never thought of it that way, and now I know how to handle this. I've had that feedback just from social media posts, and it feels amazing. I had a friend actually ask, why don't you post your YouTube on any other platform? And my response was, because I'm afraid of what feedback I'll get. Why? Why am I just giving into that fear? Why am I letting that fear prevent me from connecting with other people? Well, as of this video, which is about 2 weeks behind, I have now started sharing these videos on at least one of my other social media platforms because I want to connect with you and I want to share with you the growth that I've experienced and hopefully put it into a new perspective that maybe you can learn as well. So back to fear. Fear holds us back. It has held me back so many times, and I've just given you some examples of how I've overcome being held back. But the thing that really helps me is working on one fear at a time. Not tackling every single one of my fears. That's too much information. So one fear. Work on one fear at a time. Maybe two if they are completely different and they can be like you're doing this thing or you're doing this thing. Okay, but don't try and do all of your fears at once. You're going to overwhelm yourself and keep yourself stuck. Remember, fear is normal. Fear is fueled by limiting beliefs, and those limiting beliefs come from our childhood, come from our surroundings, come from anywhere. Challenge those limiting beliefs and challenge those fears. Jim Carrey said in an address, a commencement address he did one time, he said, "You can fail at what you don't want, so you might..." Let me start that again. You can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance at doing what you love. He was talking about his dad. His dad didn't think he could succeed at being a comedian, so he went to be an accountant, and he was laid off. That happens so frequently in our society. I was laid off not too long ago, and that's being a project manager is the safe thing to do. Except it's not for me. I've been laid off 5 times. I mean, how safe is that? Being a life coach or aspiring to be a life coach and starting to share all of this, that's not safe. But it's what I love doing. I love sharing with people so people can break through the barriers they've set for their lives. Are you doing what you don't want just for that paycheck, or are you taking a chance on what you love? I'm doing both. I have the capacity in my life and my being to do both. I do love being a project manager, but I don't know that I will do that for the rest of my life. I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I just know that I want to be happy and I want to be fulfilled. And giving into fear will not let me be fulfilled. So I have to tackle fear every single day so I can be fulfilled. Dave Hollis said, "You can't control what's going to happen even if you've convinced yourself in your mind that you can." Fear is one of those things that has led me to trying to control absolutely everything about my life. And I can't control it. I really cannot control it. The harder I try to control it, the worse life feels like. When I just let life be and yes, I have my routines. Yes, I take care of myself, but I have fun and I enjoy life instead of trying to control every single second. Life is so much better. So, key takeaways from today. To overcome your fear, ask yourself, what is the fear? How do I dig deep to learn the root cause of this fear and how this fear is triggered? What is the best thing that can happen if I face this fear? What can I do to face this fear and move forward? Also, don't forget to ask yourself, what does fear feel like to me? Does it feel different for different fears? Do you know what it feels like? Ask yourself. Sit and think about it. Journal on it. And figure it out, because if you don't know, you're not going to be able to overcome it. I want to leave you with one last quote. Michelle Obama said, "Don't be afraid. Be focused, be determined, be hopeful, be empowered. Empower yourselves with a good education. Take a step and learn how to overcome fear. Take a step and learn something new every single day. When you stop learning, you give in and you just stay stagnant. So get out there, conquer those fears, and learn." Tell me below what fears are you working through, and like this video, subscribe, and hit that little bell to get notifications when I post my next video. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.